this is David Cohen, and you may wonder where we are. We are on a trip to Vienna to celebrate Pesach with our friends, some of our friends. Currently, we are here at Albertina, one of the most famous expositions in the world. And we just saw Matthew Wong. He is clearly influenced by Vincent van Gogh. And I remember having seen Vincent van Gogh's famous self-portrait when I was an elementary school student. I didn't know anything about paintings, didn't know anything about Vincent van Gogh, but this portrait spoke to me. I saw the lostness, the despair, which eventually would lead him to commit suicide. And when you look at Matthew Wong, he's clearly inspired, but he takes it, wraps it up, and makes it his own, his expression of his despair. And I understand this very, very much. So we are at Schönbrunn now, after we, as I said before, we attended this interactive, there was a kind of a clip being played. I will link it in the description of the Van Gogh Museum because of the obvious reference Matthew Wong drew and based his work on, based on Vincent van Gogh. Now we are here in Schönbrunn, and if you ask me, it's already too warm. It is sunny, it's all of this, which I don't really like. But I have to say once again, and this time I only shot with my Leica Q3 43. So this is the most amazing camera I ever had. That doesn't say anything about the Fujifilm X106, which I will never give up. It's totally different, even though they are very similar, but it's a different way of approaching photography. I'm really happy I did it, and I'm really happy Leica brought the 43 millimeters, because it really, I've seen the difference to the 28, it really makes a difference. Now, going back to Matthew Wong, there are moments in life when you have the feeling that a revelation happened. And that happened to me yesterday morning when I had a look at what we can do. And then we decided today to go to Albertina, and even more than what I had seen during my first raw, more basic exploration, Matthew Wong totally speaks to me. It is the same as when I read Camus, Albert Camus and Sartre. I found exactly my way of thinking, my way of seeing the world, as we say, Weltsicht, which closely walks hand in hand with Weltanschauung, which you cannot really translate to American, but that's why the Americans are more liberal and more pragmatic. They don't have a word for it. They make it their own. Also because of the heavy influence of European refugees, mostly Jewish in these areas. The brain drain is massive, and Germany is still suffering from it, but Austria, Germany, bad luck. At least Germany came to terms with their past. Now, another thing I wanted to say, for a long time, this is a leaf shutter camera. Fuji X106 is a leaf shutter camera. So you usually, when you don't make photos for a longer time, when you don't use the camera, you put it on its back in order to avoid gravity causing damage to the leaves. So never forget, if you own a Fuji X100 series camera, if you own a Leica Q and other leaf shutter cameras, and you don't use them, let's say, over a longer period of time, please put them on the back. Today I don't have much to say about photography in that sense, because as I said last time, every book you read, every song you heard, every opera, every drama you read, every philosopher, every poetry book you read, for me, Camus, Sartre, Adorno have a huge impact, as even on a more existential level, Leonard Cohen, but Matthew Wong now belongs to those. There is one thing, photography-wise, I yesterday updated my Lightroom on iPhone and iPad, and there are now so many awesome one-click AI solutions that I seriously consider to use the iPad, a mobile device, even more so, since the desktop version is not as simple to operate. As I said before, I embrace AI. A bad photographer will not make better photos because of AI. But I don't see any virtue in spending hours and hours carefully masking some nonsense that AI can increasingly do better. We also don't do the washing of plates anymore. We have dishwashers, etc. So as long as you are a photographer, and that means for me to have an artistic, in the sense of creative mindset, a creative mind, no matter what you photograph, you will always look to do something. And Matthew Wong made it, reminded me of this, and I connected with him, even though he has already died. I realized that the same for me, that especially in my other photography, that whatever I try to do, and all too often delete, is that I want to express myself. I want to paint what I unfortunately can't do. I want to paint with light colors, with contrast, with shadows, angles, perspectives. On this note, I have decided this morning that I will work on a web page, a home page, that in a first step will only showcase my other photography, as on my second Instagram account. Abstract, even landscape. Sometimes there is landscape, but with my take of it. I never do photography to show that I was there. It has to tell a story. I have photos of the Eiffel Tower, you will see them, but it's not the traditional bullshit, yeah? Grandmother, wife, kids in front of the Eiffel Tower, and we make the, how can I say, the evidence, the body of evidence. We've been to Paris. What a big achievement. Anyway, I will keep you posted on this. I'm working on it. I won't go public until I ironed out most of the, well, actually all the technical requirements I have. And I can tell you already now, it will be with VIX. German subscribers, German language subscribers may have a grin now, because it is a play on words, only German language listeners, only the German language audience will understand. I always have to smile when I read it, but yeah, that's life. I will base it on Wix because it is very simple, very intuitive. I like the possibilities I have. And I have already purchased another domain, not going to tell you, and you will see it. So for today, did I say that I don't like church bells? For me, that is always the confirmation of millennia of conquest of a very aggressive ideology. It destroyed Latin America. Anyway, I hate it. And there is another thing I hate, and it also has to do with towers and bearded men when they call for prayer. Anyway, I'm going to finish now because I'm going to make more photography here with this amazing camera. Oh, by the way, before, look what I did. I went for the peak design. I have the same shoulder strap in this because that really matches the elegance and industrial look of the Leica. Isn't that brilliant? So, on a lighter note, I'm gone now. I will be gone. I'm gone now. Making more photography, and then we will have some very nice lunch. What do you think, Yasmina?
Sounds good.
You see,
Excited.
Yasmina is here filming with her mobile device. As always, whenever she uses it, the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So, I wish you a nice time, regardless of whether you celebrate Easter, Pesach, whatever. And I can't wait to tell you more next week. By the way, you will see some photos I took at the exposition, and maybe here. If they stand the test, my rigorous test, then you will see some photos from here, otherwise only from the exposition. I wish you a nice day. I wish you good luck, and see you next week.